Corey Paul is a 17-year industry veteran, educator, salon owner, and in the midst of launching his own product line. Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong Show. My name is Robert Hughes, and I'm your host. Today, I'm with Corey Paul, and we're going to hear all about his journey and how he got to where he is. How you doing today, Corey?
What's up, man? I'm excited to be here. Doing good.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you. So why don't you, first of all, where are you at right now? Or where are you located?
So I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's a small city, but a big city. So we're in between Charlotte and Greensboro,
All
North
right.
Carolina. Yeah. So pretty nice size city, but I love the area, man. It's not too big, but it's not too small either.
Nice. Awesome. So I was looking at your social and all your stuff online, and you do so much stuff. You're doing educational videos. I saw some sort of training program that you have, and you told me about a product line, and you own a salon. It's like, that's a lot on your plate. How do you manage it all?
Man, just one thing at a time. I started out and well, when I first graduated hair school, I started out at Dudley's. So I went to DCU, Dudley Cosmetology University here in Kernersville, North Carolina. And so once leaving there, I went into their actual salon. And so I was doing well there, but I kind of felt like I was in a box because I was only doing African American hair. And so I wanted to do so much more than that, right? So then I end up shifting to the JC Penney brand salon. And so we're there, of course, they're matrix users. And so they had a lot of different programs to teach you, from cut, color, business, different things like that. And so I just stayed there until I continued to grow until I couldn't grow anymore. And then I opened up my first salon, which was in a suite.
Okay.
Um, so that's pretty much how I got into my own salon. And so, of course, in the suite, it's only but a small box. So my clientele, I had a pretty large clientele. So I only stayed there probably about 3 years. And to be
Okay.
honest, I only moved from my suite um, by force. So one day I came into work, was going into the building. It was a big foreclosure sign on the front door.
Oh.
So yeah, so it was kind of just like, okay, now you got to do something different. So I started looking for different spaces, and so I ended up finding a storefront, and that's just kind of how it started to grow from there. So one of the stylists who was in the building that I was in, she ended up coming with me, and we just grew from 2 stylists to 6 stylists, from 6 stylists to now I have 14 stylists in the salon. So
Nice.
it just continued to grow, man. And so that's how
That's
I got
awesome.
into being a salon owner. So it wasn't, I had this big plan to, have a large salon. It just kind of grew into that. So it was some bumps along the way, but good learning things, good things to learn from, and definitely helped me grow.
That's awesome. All right, so let's kind of go back and dig in a little bit to your story, because there's also more to the story too. So so you went through a hairdresser. Did you say you went to school and then you went to an academy? Like, so did you do two hairdresser schools basically?
So Dudley's, they had their cosmetology, they call it DCU, which is Dudley Cosmetology University. So I went through that school, and then so I don't want to say I cheated a little bit, but I used to go over to their academy they had for licensed hairstylists. So once I
Okay.
got to school, I used to go over there and just kind of see what they were doing. So it helped me out a lot, to see more advanced techniques than what I was learning in school.
And were you already licensed at this time?
No, no. So I was still a student. So
Okay.
once I would finish my day up at school, I would go over to the academy and just kind of just watch. And
Gotcha.
so,
Okay.
the instructors were really cool. So I didn't do anything hands on, but I got to hear the information and I got to see the information that they were teaching, veteran stylists. And
Nice.
so, I mean, you had heavy hitters coming into the school like Kim Kimball, which everybody know Kim Kimball. She's Beyonce's hairstylist.
Yeah.
extension extraordinaire. But just different people coming through, taking education through the school. So just I soaked up as much information as I could.
Nice. Nice. So you got a little bit of like a jump start almost, like being in school, still learning, but seeing the advanced stuff at the same time.
Exactly, exactly.
So how long was training? How long did that
Uh,
take until you got your license?
so my cosmetology school training was 10 months.
10 months. And then you get a license. How long did you get a license right away or did you go work at a salon first?
No, I went straight to state board. I went
Yeah,
straight to state board, took my state board, and once I finished state board, then I went into the Dudley
Dudley
Salon.
Salon.
Right.
And then how long were you working behind the chair before you went into your own suite?
Um, Probably about 4 years.
Okay.
I
All
worked
right.
at Dudley's and then 3 years at JC Penney's.
Okay. And how did you decide to go out on your own and do your own thing? Like how did that happen?
I just took a faith step, man. So my clientele was pretty strong at JC Penney's. And so like I said, for me, I felt like I had grown as far as I could grow. So I had went from
Gotcha.
a beginner stylist to a master stylist in that, those 3 years. And so with JC Penney's, they go based off of the income that you bring in, right? So that's how they classify you as a beginner, junior, and master stylist. And
Okay.
then, of course, you had to go through all the courses as far as through the craft with Matrix. And so once you went through that, that was it. So once I got to that master level, I probably stayed there, which was my last year. So about each year, I was able to move up. So
Okay,
my last
nice.
year, I stayed there a full year as a master stylist, and then I just felt it was time to go.
And okay, cool. That sounds cool. It sounds were you was that normal a pathway for people in the salon? I would sound 1 year to move up. That's sounds very advanced. Was that not typical or is that typical?
I don't know if it was typical or not, because a lot of the stylists who were at JCPenney already, they were already master stylists.
I
So
see.
I was
Okay.
one of the newer stylists coming in,
And you just
so
move quickly.
right. So
Nice.
I love education, man, and information. So I'm gonna sit up under you, soak it up as much as I can, take it, make it my own, use it and go from there. So I just learned from a lot of the stylists, and it was some pretty dope stylists in the salon where we worked here in Winston-Salem. So I got to
Nice.
see everything from cutting, styling, color, um, and just really how to grow my business, and grow my client.
So okay, cool. So you're at your studio and you go in one day and you see that that building is not going to be around much longer. So you're forced to move, do this next steps. Tell us a little bit about that, like, and like definitely share some details with as far as um like what's your experience in finding a spot and the things that you learned and maybe any lessons for anybody listening who might be going through the same thing or thinking about it.
Man, that was hectic. I'm not even gonna lie. It was super hectic. So um when I went into the building, saw the foreclosure sign, of course, it was the hallway that I was on, it was about 4 or 5 maybe other stylists. And so of course, they was talking, they didn't really know what they were gonna do. So I mean, I knew I had to jump into action. So I called my dad. My dad is an entrepreneur as well. He has a janitorial company. So I'm like, listen, they're going to shut the building down. I probably have about 2 weeks before they close down.
Wow.
And so he immediately went into looking for spaces as well as I. And so he found one space. And so he was like, come take a look at it, which it was about 2 streets down. And so I was like,
Nice.
man, no, I don't want to go over there. It's too far out. And so he was like, it's literally 2 streets down. He was like, just come take a look at the spot. So I went to go look at the storefront. And so when I got in there, I'm like, it was some ugly colors on the wall. It was like all just peach and green. It looked like a beach salon. Like it was not. I'm like, I can't do anything in here. And so I told my dad, I'm like, man, I don't want to go with that spot. He was like, well, if you find something else, go for it. But if not, this is a great spot, great location for you. We were on a busy street, but it was kind of in a corner, and so
Okay.
you couldn't really see it, the salon, when you pulled into the shopping center. But he was like, once you get your sign up, you get your sign up on the marquee, everything will be good. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep looking. So I kept looking for the rest of that week, didn't find anything. So I ended up going back to this the location he found, met with the owner or the property manager. The numbers were good. The only thing I was a little bit nervous about, they wanted me to sign a 4-year lease. And so this was my first time, which is typical when you go into a storefront. But this was my first time ever owning a salon this large, right?
Okay.
And I only
Yeah.
had one potential stylist locked in. So I had to make sure that I was going to be able to afford this space by myself, just in case the young lady who was coming in with me walked out, or something happened to where she couldn't stay or couldn't even come over with me. So just went through the numbers, made sure what I was making didn't come under what the expenses were. So I still wanted to make sure I could still live my same lifestyle, pay my bills at home, and be able to run a salon by myself if I needed to.
Wow.
So once we did that, and mind you, this was like in a week, 2 week frame. So it was like when
Yeah.
I was leaving the suite, I was literally going home, crunching numbers, seeing how much equipment was going to cost. Because in my suite, I had my station, 2 shampoo bowls, and I think I had like 4 waiting chairs, right? So I was going from that to 4 stations now to going to 3 shampoo bowls. So it was equipment that I had to buy, more
Right.
dryers that I had to buy. So I really had to see what everything was going to cost. I didn't want to take out a loan, right? I wanted to do everything so it's paid for. I didn't have anything to worry about. So once
Wow.
I crunched my numbers, I just kind of went in and started buying stuff, signed a contract. I got a young lady to move over into the salon with me. Um, and from there, I just went heavy with marketing. So Instagram was just picking up then. And so I got on Instagram, started getting flyers made, and I was looking for stylists. I had just started getting into the education realm. And so I ended up hosting my first class at the new salon.
Oh,
And
nice.
so that was when I did that, that was a great way for me to start, networking with other stylists. So from doing that, I got 2 more stylists to come over because they like the way the salon looked. They like my passion for education. So it was just easy, with hosting those classes. So I would say
Nice.
definitely if someone is looking to grow your salon business, even if you're not an educator, host classes at your salon. That's a
Nice.
great way to get other stylists to just even come into your salon space, take a look at it, and kind of see, if that's somewhere they'd like to work.
Was it did you charge for the class?
I did.
You
So at the
did.
time, I think it was like maybe $35 for
Okay.
a 4-hour class. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, I did charge for it, and I think for my first class, I want to say I maybe had about 12 stylists to come, right?
Okay.
Which I thought was pretty good at the time,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
my
that sounds
first
pretty
class.
good.
Yeah, 12 stylists was good. So,
Yeah.
like I said, from there, I got 2 stylists to come and join my team, and we just continue to grow from there.
Literally, I feel like you just gave somebody a recipe for how to, increase their chances of success by becoming as they becoming a salon owner. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. So you got into education. How did how did you decide to get into education? Did you think, oh, if I host a salon, I'll attract hairdressers? Or were you just like, I just want to teach some classes? Or how'd that happen?
So I went to this is while I was still in the suite. I went to the Bronner Brothers Hair Show in Atlanta. And so it was a guy, his name was Patrick, well, his name is Patrick Bradley. And so I seen him and his team on this trade floor at the Bronner Brothers Hair Show. And so it was African American hair. It was straight, it was flowy, it had all these different colors in there. And it was just something that I had never seen before. And so I'm like, I want to be a part of this. And so I started talking to him. I'm like, I like what you guys are doing. How do I get into it? And so he was like, well, I host a boot camp every year in Las Vegas. And he was like, come out to Las Vegas. You can audition for the team. If you make the team, then, you'll start going from there. So, of course, because I like education, I went to the boot camp. And so I ended up auditioning. I made a team. And from there, my passion just continued to grow. And just a funny story, my first show I ever did was the Premiere Orlando show. And so they literally gave me a model. Her hair was like a brush cut, and they was like, "This is your model." So I'm like, "Well, what am I gonna do with her?" So I just took her almost to like a platinum blonde and put like a pastel violet over top of it. And so with Patrick Bradley's classes, like his classes are usually packed. I mean, it's like no seats in there available, people standing up all against the wall. And so that was like my first time ever going on stage. So I was like nervous, trembling, shaking. And so I got up there and I did pretty well. I bombed a couple times, but he was able to save me. We were on stage together to where it was seamless. And so from there, my passion just grew to get better for one, but just to see how far I could go as an educator and inspire people the same way that he inspired me when I just was on the salon floor, and just his passion for education as well. So he's
Nice.
still one of my mentors to this day.
Nice. Okay. Would you say that would you think the 12 people that came to your class, do you think they knew that you were part of this artistic team?
Yeah, because I put it on the flyer for one, so that was a great way to kind of
Okay.
bring in some of those people from his following as well. But I think just from, like I said, social media was just starting to kind of get out there. So from me posting just my work, and of course the flyer, it was able to see, okay, well, hey, he's doing something different. He's doing good, great color, great cuts. Let me go and check it out and see what he's doing. So.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. All right. So you're you're getting into education, you're building your salon, and tell me about some of this other stuff here. Is either on your website or your link tree or something, or maybe with social media. It said something about a training program, hairstylist training program. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So basically, what it is same thing. So it's just like a hairstyling community. So we get on there. I post 3 videos a month. We do a live webinar to where I'm talking about color, cutting, business, styling. So just different things that the stylists need to grow. So it's not a manual for it, if you will, or I don't post just generic things. I kind of see what the stylists need who are in a community. So, like
Okay.
if one stylist may be struggling with, how to build a clientele, I'll do a class on business and just kind of show or tell how I built my clientele, what marketing tools I use, if it's specific color situations, whether it's color correction or blonding, different things like that. Then we'll do webinars based off of that, and I try to create content to help with what the stylists need.
Okay. So this is like a all virtual community. Is that
Right.
right?
All virtual, all virtual.
Wow. And when did you start that?
We started that I want to say about 3 months ago.
Okay.
So it's pretty new. It's growing extremely fast.
Nice.
So at a rapid pace, and I'm excited about that. But I love the community part of it. I think that's what was important for me. I didn't want to get on there and just post, videos that wouldn't be helpful to hairstylists who were in need. So I love that community part to where we can stay in communication, and it's not like you're on there and you're just typing comments. Like if anybody has questions, like I respond back. If they like, okay, well, I didn't understand this part in a video. I go back and break it down and say, okay, hey, like I have a relaxer color same day video. So a young lady had a question. Well, how do you know, or basically, what products do you use to transition? So I'm like, you want to make sure you use all the relaxer lines product first, and then get into your color. So just simple things like that, or giving them a key nugget to help them be successful.
Nice. And how do you communicate with the people? Like, do you have like your own WhatsApp group or your own app or like,
So pretty much most of it's through email, but
okay.
of course I'm a like I said, salon owner and a stylist. So most of the time I'll record a little video and send it to them via email, or I'll type it out and say, hey, this is what we're doing, or this is what I did, or whatever information they need.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. That's cool. Well, do you think that happened? You came onto that because of COVID and doing stuff during video work during COVID, or I
Definitely,
mean, yeah.
definitely. I would say during COVID, and still now, like a lot of people, they're coming out more. but you still have some of those people who want to stay inside. They're not ready to come out, be around a lot of people, but they still want education. You
Yeah.
know, so it was definitely a great platform for them to get what they need.
Nice. Cool. And the what I think is the last thing, your product line. So when did you start working on that?
Whoa. So I started working on a product line probably about 20, I'd say 20, mid 2017.
Okay.
So it took me about um, a year and a half to get it right. So it was, sending it back, getting the samples, kind of tweaking it here and there, adding things to where it was a product that I could use on everyone and not just for texture hair, but I wanted to work on all hair types. So probably took me about a year and a half to get it right. And then like after that, then COVID hit. So it kind of gave me it's kind of blessing in disguise. So it gave me time to sit down and really see how I wanted to market it, how I wanted to promote it. I was able to change the packaging up a little bit, and just different things like that. So I'm
Nice.
excited about launching it this August in Miami.
Awesome. So tell us a little well, actually maybe that's a conversation for another time, but just real quick, like high level, what type of, like, if someone's thinking about doing their own product line, what type of like initial investment should they like be prepared to make? Like,
Okay,
is it a
great question. So I would say it depends on how you want to do it. So a lot of companies now they offer where you can basically take their product and private label it, right? So you can just take their product, put your name on it, and so
Yeah.
they may allow you to tweet one or two things about it. So if you want to do something like that, I'll probably say the initial investment is going to be about 3 to 5 thousand, based off of the volume that they say. Okay, you may have to get 6 cases of each product, or you may have to order a certain amount of product um,
Gotcha.
for your first order. But now, if you want to come up with your own formula, like how I did, that's a lot more expensive. And
Yeah,
so
that's
you're
what I've
looking,
heard.
yeah, so you're looking more so around the 10 to 13 thousand, um, and that's just pretty much for formulation in your first batch.
Yeah.
And then from there, then you have to start reordering, and so that's probably about seven, about 7 to 9 thousand, based off of what you're ordering.
Gotcha.
That you have to do for your re-up.
Gotcha. So probably around $20,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, and less, and maybe less than five otherwise.
right.
Something like that. Cool. Thanks for that information. I'm sure plenty of people are looking into that, trying to figure that information out. So okay, cool. I mean, this is great. I feel like there was another question in there somewhere. Oh, I know. Just another real quick high level thing. Did when you got your salon, I know I'm gonna jump around here a little bit, but when you got your salon, did you have to secure the lease? Like when you got, did you have to like put any money up or anything like that for the lease? I mean, how did they manage that?
So when I think you had to put down your first month's rent and then a security deposit, which at
Okay.
the time I think my rent was about 1,500. So I
Okay.
had to put down 3,000 for my first month, and then the security deposit, and then from there it was good to go.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right. And then you also had, okay, cool. All right. Well, I had that question in my head earlier and I didn't ask it and we started talking about other stuff. So I just wanted to make sure I
But
asked
I
that
would
question.
definitely say, like, for anybody who is wanting to open a salon, like, really, really know what it's gonna take to open it. So know how many dryers you're gonna need, how much that's gonna cost. Your like, just know the cost for everything. My dad was, say he's an entrepreneur, so he say on me, like he was like, you even need to know how much paint is gonna cost, paper towels, tissue, everything you're gonna need for your salon. Know how much it's gonna cost, so you'll know if this is a good investment for you right now. So with me doing that for my suite, I already kind of had the know-how of what to do, but I just had to do it in a small amount of time, right? So remember I told
Mhm.
you I only had 2 weeks, so I really had to like get in there, crunch those numbers, see how I was gonna start ordering equipment, and all this stuff within those 2 weeks. So I really say that those first 4 days, like it was late nights, early morning, getting up, making sure that I had the cost for everything to see if this was going to be a good investment before I went and signed that lease.
So good. Thanks for that. I was actually going to say, what's your piece of advice to to somebody? So that's perfect. I really appreciate that. Okay, well, let's wrap it up here. I like to end with a laugh, and I ask people if they have a moment in their career when they were either embarrassed and could laugh about it later, or if they did something that wasn't necessarily funny in the moment, but you laughed about it later on. Is there something that pops in your head?
Man, it's so many funny stories I have. Being a hairstylist, we're always around people. I would probably say um, when I first started trying to do the relaxer color same day technique, one of my clients, she's been with me forever. She's actually more so like a sister than she is a client. But when I did the relaxer color on her, like it came out perfect. Like the hair was straight, the blonde was perfect. And so the next day she called me. She was like, "My hair is on a pillow." And I'm
Oh
like, "Your
no.
hair is on a pillow?" She was like, "Literally, my hair is on my pillow." So I'm like, "Send me a picture." So she sends me a picture of all this blonde hair on a pillow. And so I'm like, "Listen, we're gonna make you a wig, whatever we need to do. I promise I'm gonna fix it." And so
Oh,
it wasn't funny like right then and there. I promise I was more so scared than anything. Now we
right.
can laugh about it. But the positive thing about that was I was able to tweak it and get it right. You know what I'm saying? So let your mistakes make you great.
Totally.
Don't give up on it. Just keep tweaking it until you get it right.
I love that. I amen to that. I love that. Thank you for that. All right. Well, thanks for today, and we'll figure out what we're going to talk about next time. But until then, thank you so much for coming on the show.
All right, appreciate it, man. Anytime.
Absolutely. So if you're listening on podcast, please give us a rating. 5 stars is preferable. If you're watching on YouTube, oh, and don't forget to follow us. If you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. It helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. And until next time, take care. And thanks again, Corey.
Thank you.